Chapter 2, Such a Disappointment. So we've met Despereaux, who should not have lived, but reader, he did. We know he was different because he was tiny. He was the only mouse to live when he was born, and because his eyes were open, and they shouldn't have been. We also have met Antoinette, his mother. What was Antoinette interested in after her babies died and Despereaux lived? She was only interested in her makeup, her looks, and her mirror. We've also met Despereaux's father, and a sister Merlot, and a brother Furlough. Despereaux, Furlough, Merlot. These are all French words or French names. Chapter 2, Such a Disappointment. Despereaux Tilling lived, but his existence was cause for much speculation in the mouse community. What is speculation? If you speculate, it means you ask questions, you make a guess, and you think, what's happening here? He's the smallest mouse I've ever seen, said his Aunt Florence. It's ridiculous. No mouse has ever been this small, not even a Tilling. She looked at Despereaux through narrowed eyes as she expected him to disappear entirely. No mouse, she said again, ever. Despereaux, his tail wrapped around his feet, stared back at her. Those are some big ears he's got, too, observed his Uncle Alfred. They look more like donkey ears, if you ask me. They are obscenely large ears, said Aunt Florence. Despereaux wiggled his ears. His Aunt Florence gasped. They say he was born with his eyes open, whispered Uncle Alfred. Despereaux stared hard at his uncle. Impossible, said his Aunt Florence. No mouse, no matter how small or obscenely large ears, is ever born with his eyes open. It simply isn't done. His pa, Lester, says he's not well, said Uncle Alfred. Achoo! Despereaux sneezed. He said nothing in defense of himself. How could he? Everything his aunt and uncle said was true. He was ridiculously small. His ears were obscenely large. He had been born with his eyes open. He coughed and sneezed. He carried a handkerchief in his paw at all times. He ran temperatures. He fainted at loud noises. Most alarming of all, he showed no interest in things a mouse should be interested in. See, he did not think constantly of food. He was not intent on tracking down every crumb. While his larger, older siblings ate, Despereaux stood with his head cocked to one side, very still. Do you hear that sweet, sweet sound? He said. I hear the sound of cake crumbs falling out of people's mouths and hitting the floor, said his brother, Toulouse. That's what I hear. No, said Despereaux. It's something else. It sounds like, honey. You might have big ears, said Toulouse, but they're not attached to your brain. You don't hear honey, you smell honey. When there's honey to smell, well, there isn't. Son, barked Despereaux's father, snap to it, get your head out of the clouds, and hunt for crumbs. Please, said his mother, look for crumbs. Eat them, make your mama happy. You are such a skinny little mouse, and such a disappointment to your mama. Sorry, said Despereaux. He lowered his head and sniffed the castle floor. But reader, he was not smelling. He was listening with his big ears to the sweet sound that no other mouse seemed to hear.